It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
I think this means we're live. Can you see me?
Yeah. Can you see me?
Yeah, but I can't see myself anymore. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway,
I don't know why it does
Steph?
that at the beginning sometimes. Where I'm like, I'll just take everyone's word for it if they can see or hear me.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Guess what? I saw The Bone Temple last night, the new 28 Years Later movie.
Oh, okay.
It was.
Didn't they just came out with a 28 Years Later movie? Or
yes, it's a trilogy.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a trilogy. And the second one was so much better than the first.
I saw the original of those. What's it called?
28 weeks. 28 days later?
Yeah, 28 days or something like that. And then it was like 28 days later. And then now I don't know. It's like.
The first one was 28 days later. It was like 2000, I think, when that one came out.
Or
2002.
Before that, though.
28 days was the first one.
Okay.
28 weeks was the second one. And then 28 years is the third one.
Okay.
But they're making 28 years into a trilogy. And the second 28 years was so good. I didn't really like the first 28 years later. I thought it was lacking in a lot of like the story. And this one just like made so much more sense to me as a movie.
Well, I mean, for those people watching on LinkedIn or let's see what else, Facebook or wherever that you might be watching this, Twitter, and you're wondering why the hell these two people's heads popped up and they're talking about movies. Yeah. This is rAVe TV, our weekly, every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, the industry's only live streaming news show. We kind of curate the news. We have some big news this week. We'll talk about Sony, the big news about Sony in just a moment. But we come to you live. We're from the rAVe agency and part of rAVe Pubs. And we will be at ISE in a couple weeks. We're going to talk about that.
Yep.
But this is Gary Kay and Steph Beckett, and we come to you live now for like almost 4 or 5 years. I don't know, 4 years.
It's been a long time.
We've been doing this, and yeah, so we both like movies. So the movie I saw this past week was, I think it's called Man on a Wire.
Okay.
But it's the true story of back in 1977, a guy who had been, he thought, wronged by a mortgage company, kidnapped another guy who is the son of the founder of the mortgage company and strapped a shotgun around his neck. And it's a true story. And he held him hostage for like 3 days. It happened in Indianapolis, Indiana, and they made a movie about it. It's Gus Van Sant, and he always does really good movies. And it is the best movie I've seen in probably a year.
And is it streaming or did you go see it somewhere?
No, I saw it at theater.
Okay.
Yeah,
is it
Gus
in?
Van Sant. It's Skarsgård.
Alexander Skarsgård or one of the other ones? There's
one
like
of the other ones.
There's a bunch.
The younger one, but he's going to get an Academy Award nomination.
Okay.
No question about it, because he did such a good job playing the guy who kidnapped him. And it's a true story, and they did a phenomenal job duplicating what happened. Now, of course, I wasn't old enough to remember it, but I remember reading about it and hearing about it because it went to court many years later, and he went to prison, and then he got out. So there was a lot of stuff about that. But and so speaking of prison, there's been a lot of news about John Hinckley lately. Have you noticed that? Do you know who John Hinckley is, Steph?
No, who is that?
He's the guy who shot President Reagan.
Oh.
He tried to say, and he did it under the guise that Jodie Foster would want him to do this.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and he went to prison. Well, he actually went to a mental hospital here in North Carolina and lived here in North Carolina for 30 years in the mental hospital, and he got out about, I don't know, in the last 5 years, 6 years.
Like, was he allowed or did he escape?
He's out. Yeah, he's out. They freed him. He's clear. He's like, has no restrictions as of 2019. But I listen, I listen to podcasts, and I was listening to this podcast, and they were talking about, and basically the podcast centered around the fact that he goes to this one Starbucks every single day, and they're talking to all the people that work at the Starbucks, and they just see him as John. They didn't even know he was John, as in John Hinckley.
Yeah.
And it was kind of an interesting perspective, because, look, the guy was like 22 at the time, or 23.
Yeah.
Your 23-year-old brain and your 53-year-old brain are very different. So, and he obviously was morseful, apologize. But obviously, if you try to shoot somebody like that, you have mental health issues.
For sure.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
You're not going to get away out of that scot-free.
Yeah. How's ISE prep going?
I think it's going pretty well. I think I'm always like scared before ISE. I'm like, not everything's going to get done. It's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
And then it's like always fine. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be okay. I'm just kind of like I'm scared of my email inbox right now. So I'm like, ah!
Yeah, I know that feeling. Well, feel free to use me if you need me to help you with some stuff. And I know y'all are finished packing up. And I think y'all did that simultaneously while moving from one office space to another in the same building.
Wild.
So
yeah, we have a brand new office space now. Yeah. We're all in one office now because we had two. And now we just have one. And there's more windows in it, which is like good for everyone's mental health.
I think from what I understand, it's a little bit bigger too, so you get more space.
It's a corner office. So, yeah, it's very nice. But yeah, that's like a lot of change happening at one time.
Well, with ISE coming up, there's a lot of stuff going on in ISE. Yeah. It's exciting. We're going to be covering it. You can see all of our ISE coverage in one place at raypubs.com/ISE. I'm sure Steph would have mentioned that. Or maybe we have a graphic about it. We're already curating news there. I don't know, get probably about 100 news stories, I'm guessing, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like close to 70 now.
There you go, 70 news stories. But we'll shoot a couple thousand videos or close to a couple thousand videos during that period of time. You can also follow us on Instagram. We're putting a lot of content on Instagram just for fun of it. And lots of stuff going on.
Lots of stuff going on.
So Barcelona again for y'all.
Yes. Yes. Exciting. So, okay. You sent me a story yesterday and you were like, Sony's doing something in the consumer space. They're kind of giving control of their TV business to TCL.
Not exactly. I think the problem is what's interesting about this, and this is going to be a strong statement, but true.
Okay.
Not a single member of any press has gotten this story right yet.
Okay. Well,
they
great.
have not gotten it right.
We'll be the first.
What you're reading is not actually accurate. So that's frustrating. And also, by the way, I just saw a blog or a post on LinkedIn from David Danto about this. Dave, dude, you're wrong. You and I have been around. We've known each other for many, many years, but you're wrong in your post on LinkedIn. I hate to tell you, this is actually a good thing. I'll write a blog about it to give you all the details, but so that make sure we get everything accurate. But yes, definitely the consumer division is going to be affected, but also the commercial division of Sony is going to be affected. And it's not that they're selling to TCL. That's actually not true. This is going to be a joint venture, a new company created of a combination of Sony's technology and TCL's manufacturing and distribution capabilities. So TCL will still exist. Sony will still exist. I think Sony will exist in a different way. I think they'll be, all the stuff they are now, minus the consumer electronics and some of the commercial electronic stuff, will be moved into this new joint venture. Let me tell you why this is a good thing.
Okay.
Because it will provide us with another gigantic manufacturer who has the capability of building all different types of technology rather than another medium-sized display company. Because the power of TCL, and by the way, if you don't know who TCL is, TCL, here's the way I'm going to give you an analogy to this. Okay, so TCL right now, I think a lot of people consider TCL like a low-end consumer television company.
Yes.
TCL is a Chinese company that is obviously a manufacturer, but has incredibly interestingly high quality video processing, which is the thing that surprised me. If you go look at TCL TVs, yes, they are inexpensive, but the quality that you get for that is quite interesting. It's not like the typical cheap TV like Vizio, okay? So if you compare a TCL to Vizio, you're going to probably buy the TCL every single time if you did a side-by-side comparison. I know Vizio's not going to like me saying that, but I'm telling you, I'd like for you to do your own comparison. But that's not what's important here. What's important here is that TCL has manufacturing capacity that Sony doesn't currently have. Sony's is more distributed among multiple manufacturers, multiple different agreements they have with different manufacturers. This could centralize it all for them. And, again, I don't have inside information on this, but I can tell you that what has been published so far is not right. This is going to be a new company and huge opportunity for our industry to have another, because right now you have Samsung and LG and that's it from the big brands. And you have then you have Sharp, and you have who obviously we know where they came from, and the copier industry, they've got in a unique differentiation because they have all the IT managers, the ear of all the IT people because of all their copiers and printers that are all over the place. And then Sony has huge consumer division and very high end commercial division.
Yes.
Well, this allows Sony to still have that, but also come down to the middle and then compete in a bigger way potentially with Samsung and LG and companies like that. So I think this is a good thing for the industry. It's certainly a good thing for Sony people. I mean, if I were Sony, I'd be very happy with it. That people that work for Sony Corporation that are in the commercial division. So it's not just going to be consumer, it's also going to affect the commercial division. But primarily what's been written up so far is about the consumer. And also, Dave Dant, I have to say I disagree with your synopsis, and I think we'll have to wait and see if I'm right or you're right, but I think what I'm saying is more likely to happen.
So, question, TCL is, a lot of the reason why TCL is so cheap is because they manufacture their own panels.
Yeah.
And their testing process is different than, is it Samsung, who also manufactures a lot of
Samsung and LG
panels?
do. And for example, Sony's OLED is LG, for example. They have a new joint venture with Panasonic, and they're working on a new OLED. Of course, the future of TVs for direct view display TVs is RGB LED. So that's going to change things. But yes, so the analogy I would give you is Hyundai becoming Genesis. Hyundai still exists for TCL, but Genesis is a very high-end car company that's competing with BMW and Audi and Mercedes. People are choosing to buy Genesis. And that's interesting. It's always easier to be a high-end manufacturer and go lower than it is to be lower, go higher. So this is interesting because Sony becomes the high-end manufacturer that attacks the middle, and TCL is the entry-level manufacturer, whatever you want to call them, and will attack the middle with them. So it'll be very interesting. And I think this hasn't been done in our industry. This has been done on the consumer side, and it's been done in other industries. Like I mentioned, the car industry specifically, the Honda Acura example is another one, Toyota, Lexus, where, both those started with low-end products first and went high-end. But it hasn't been done in our industry. No one's even tried it. So I think this is going to be successful.
I think that you have better vision into that than I do. But I'll trust you.
Yeah, I think again, I don't have any insider information, and no one at Sony's talking about it specifically, but in reading the tea leaves and seeing kind of what's going on there, I think there's a lot of potential in all this kind of stuff. So
all right, I'm excited for your blog then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Someone else who announced something yesterday, Crestron had a virtual keynote, so I attended that, and they announced 5 new products that they're going to be focusing on in the next year, and also I think we can expect to see all of these at ISE. One of the accompanying press releases was a new series of touchscreens, the 80 series, and this is going to be for your smart home control. So of course, Crestron and Control, they go hand in hand. And of course, this is going to be for your luxury residence, your multi-dwelling unit, hospitality even, or for, if you're super rich, your yacht. This can go in your yacht to control all of the tech in your yacht. So There's 8 and 10-inch models, and then you can mount it on the wall or tabletop as usual with these. But yeah, so exciting for them, and I am excited to cover all of the rest of their tech that they announced in that keynote yesterday. Had an interview with Brad, and that is also live now on the site. If you go and check that out, he kind of previews a few of the things that we can see at ISE.
Yeah, and go. Let's. In fact, Crestron is one of our sponsors. Let's run this piece real quick for them. I always
Okay.
kind of forget to do that unmute thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
but
when
anyway,
she pulls us
yeah.
backstage.
So in other news, Exertis AV, you all know Exertis AV is going back to the Comtech name with this new Nexora realignment. It's almost like they've decided that all this rebranding they did, they got to go back and brand back the old way. And I think the reason for this is Comtech is really well known in Germany and
Yeah.
in a lot of Europe, obviously the Central Europe, and you know, it doesn't make sense to create a new brand when you have a strong existing brand. So I
Yeah.
feel like part of this is, oops, we need to go back and fix this. So I think this is a good direction for them to go. But I also think it creates confusion in the market. I really do. I think that this should have been thought out before they went through this rebranding, and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate that they're having to go back and do a rebrand of the rebrand.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. They're at least correcting it now, and I think they'll do better with this new, going
Yes.
back to these things. I mean, look, Wolfgang Lenz, who started. Wait, is it Wolfgang Lenz? I'm trying to think which Wolfgang it is. But who started? I forget if it's Lenz, because it's been so many years since I helped open up Extron's office in Europe, and he and I became friends then. Even though I didn't use him as a distributor, he actually helped me a lot.
Okay.
But he who started Comtech in Germany, that dude was like one of the most liked person in the industry. I know he's retired now and sold the company, but he, you don't mess with that kind of formula, right? I mean, it's like imagine Apple changed their name to Pear and then decided, well, we should go back to the name Apple.
I think it
it's very
was
difficult to pull
Wolfgang
off.
Lenz. I think you're right.
Yeah, Wolfgang Lenz, he was just a great guy, and his brand was inside the Comtech brand, but the people that work for him were just phenomenal as well. So I think it's a good thing, but it's going to create confusion.
I mean, anytime you rebrand and rebrand, but then you go back to the brand, like that's going to create confusion for people. But I think in their case, it was like, what's going to be best for us in the long run? And obviously, what is best for the brand in the long run is to go back to the one that was really well known and really well trusted.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's good for them. So yeah.
So another keynote speaker, as you guys know, ISE has a few different keynotes, and this is like the creative keynote. And for this one, they announced the speaker. It's going to be Matt Clark. He's a British artist, and he's a founder of the United Visual Artists. So he does a lot of coding, but sound, but also lighting, but also choreography. So I'm really excited about this. It seems really, really cool. So it's going to be obviously like at ISE room CC 4.1. I think that's actually very close to where our office is this year. From 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. local time. And this is kind of all about building this like performance led piece that kind of works with Casa Baccio, which is one of the famous like houses that they do a lot of projection mapping on, and something that we often all go see ahead of ISE. So very exciting, and where he's going to kind of talk about his like artistic process through that. So definitely check it out.
And Visix, who, as you know, was the first digital signage company to specifically focus on higher education and has always been a big supporter of the Pro AV market, has expanded its e-paper line with a new 37-inch color e-paper product. Yeah, I think there's, well, is it 37 inch or is it just
I don't think
called
it's 37 inches because it's a desk
37?
sign.
It's a small sign. It's a 3.9 inch, but it's called the EPS 37. So it's like a hot desking kind of product, or could be used as a room sign, but it's a color e-paper, which means that you charge it, and you might have to charge it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, but it's color, full color. That it's added to their current existing EPS 42 and EPS 74 room signs, which are the larger ones. That's why I got confused.
I'm excited to see all of the e-paper on the market. Like
yeah, it's really a game changer. I mean, it really is. It's super expensive compared to normal signage, but you can do so many other form factors with this. I think eventually you're going to see, odd shapes and things like that. And I think that's going to be fun.
Do you remember? Of course you remember Dalton, our former intern. You know how he is one of the owners of a jewelry store now. We were at Infocom, and I don't remember whose booth it was, but he was like looking at the e-paper, and he was like, "Oh, I got to get one of these for the jewelry store." And the person who worked for the manufacturer was like, "I don't think you can afford it."
It is expensive stuff, but ultimately, as a manufacturer, you could guilt companies into using this technology by saying how eco-friendly it is. So depending on the sort of like, their philosophy on that kind of stuff. But hey, speaking of philosophy, one company that has a phenomenal philosophy that also is a supporter of rAVe TV is Shure. And I want you to watch this piece about how the camera tracking works in conjunction with the MXA 901 and MXA 920 ceiling arrays.
A camera tracking system can help all participants to have an equally effective communication experience. But without precise location data from the microphone, inaccurate camera views and movements can leave far-end participants feeling frustrated and fatigued. The Microflex Advance MXA 920 and MXA 901 ceiling array microphones make great camera tracking easy. The MXA 920, with its multi-zone automatic coverage technology, makes it simple to define the areas that you want to hear and see, allowing up to 8 individual coverage areas. The MXA 901 allows for a simpler install with its single automatic coverage area. Built-in voice activity detection on both microphones ensures that unwanted room noises from keyboards or chip bags won't trigger a camera movement. The MXA 920 and MXA 901 identify each talker's precise location in real time with X, Y, and Z coordinates. These coordinates enable the camera system to frame a single person at a distance or capture simultaneous talkers. Unlike other array microphones that can only assign one camera preset per lobe, the MXA 920 and MXA 901 can identify an almost infinite number of talker positions to support a totally fluid automatic tracking system. Both microphones also support preset-based camera tracking, where microphone data is used to trigger predefined camera areas. Even in larger rooms with multiple microphones and cameras, the MXA 920 and MXA 901 accurately identify who's talking and where they are in the room, so that the camera system always shows the right person at the right time. A flexible API allows it to be integrated with all kinds of camera tracking systems, whether they're hardware or software-based, with one camera or multiple cameras. Learn how the Microflex Advance MXA 920 and MXA 901 can enable a premium video conferencing experience in your meeting room.
All righty, we are back.
Okay.
There's a lot of other news we got to cover it really quickly because we're running out of time here.
Oh,
You
for
know how that works,
yappers.
Steph.
Okay. Do you want to do view wall?
Yeah. So
Okay.
you all introduced the Pack One, which is basically a 4K decoder for their ecosystem. You can get all the specs and all the details on our website at ravepubs.com, but it handles it's an AV over IP decoder that handles H.264 to 265 VNC. It can be used as an application server, so it's specifically for their ecosystem.
Yes. And then Marshall Electronics announced a brand new seamless switch. This is going to be at ISE. This is obviously shipping worldwide. Obviously also designed for your control room, remote production, definitely like AV and broadcast where those two meet. This is going to be where you're going to use this switch. Full specs also on rAVe.
Yeah, and check this out, Steph. Crestron is now shipping. We announced this earlier late last year. The new PoE ceiling speaker system with Dante and built-in DSP in the speaker. So
Yeah.
you just network connection directly to the speaker. You get control and amplification for every single speaker individually. It's not only Dante but also AES-67 and can be, and this is the cool thing, can be installed in a plenum rated ceiling. And not
yeah.
a lot of ceiling speakers can be installed in a plenum rated ceiling without a box. This one does not require a box.
Very cool. Well, our third and final sponsor that we were so excited to add as of January 2026 is ViewSonic. And we talked about the brand new LDE series DV LED last week, but we now have a video preview that we are so excited to show you. All right. So I can
can't do math.
None of us can. I can't. Okay, Humley, they added QR code booking to their reservations platform, which is like very, very popular right now. Honestly, like the resurgence of the QR code needs to be like studied because when it first came out, nobody was rocking with it. And then COVID happened and now we're all rocking with the QR code. So this is obviously going to be another feature that's showcased at ISE, kind of showcasing workplace booking with hardware and app free options. So it's like going to be helpful for a lot of those people who work in hot desking situations that don't want to download another freaking app, which like I get it. So
some data on working from home versus working at the office, thanks to a study commissioned by Owl Labs, and of course they make hybrid collaboration gear, they. A lot of these companies like Amazon and Google, JP Morgan, Chase, those kind of companies have said you're coming back to the office whether you like it or not. Return to normal 5 days a week.
Yeah.
They're all those are now up to 4 days a week, and they're going to 5 days a week starting March for most of them. They give you they did a survey of what people want, and 80% of people like flexible location working, which can be defined a billion different ways, like 1 day at home or 2 days at home. So people like it, but in fact, some companies are just not going to offer it. And ultimately, the point is you still got to offer the gear either way. You got to have the technology, which means when they're working from home, they got to have good quality microphones, good quality, secondary displays, the ability for collaboration, that kind of stuff, but also that you need to have it in the office. So it's great for our market because we're going to be putting more stuff in, right? I mean, that's what's great about it. We're going to put more stuff in. You can read that, all the details about this survey and what they learned from it. And of course, they want you to, they certainly want you to check out the OWL products. The Meeting Owl 4 Plus and the OWL Bar are really kind of neat products. I had a chance to preview those before they actually announced it. I really like the OWL 4 Plus. If you haven't seen that product, you should check it
Owl
out.
Labs is kind of cool and different because they kind of did meeting room technology, but kind of hit like B2C a lot. Which,
well, it's interesting. Funny enough, maybe this is what you were saying, but what I learned about them was on Instagram. That was the first time I saw them was on Instagram. They were pushing stuff on Instagram before they were pushing stuff in our market.
Exactly. So I think that, that they were kind of tackling like straight to consumer meeting room technology, which I thought was kind of an interesting approach because that is where I learned from them as well on Instagram, social media, and then also had a friend who had bought their stuff and was like, have you heard of this company? Yeah. So very interesting marketing, but it's definitely made me remember them. So okay, I wanted to remind everyone, like last chance, last call, go fill out the January 2026 temperature check survey. This is really going to be important for me as I'm trying to finish my like editorial calendar for the year. It's basically done, but like I want to know if I'm thinking of the right stuff. So this is your opportunity to tell me what you think are going to be the big trends and the big opportunities this year. And I appreciate your time. And of course, as always, we will give away two $50 Amazon gift cards for respondents. So please go do that.
And we have, obviously we'll be at ISE in 2 weeks. If you're at the last minute deciding to go to ISE, use our code RAVEPUBS to register, but you can always go look at all of our coverage of the show at ravepubs.com/ISE. And then we have some upcoming virtual events on January 22nd, which is tomorrow, by the way, at 2 p.m. Tim Albright is using the launch virtual and hybrid events meeting system that we have for a session called Engineering a Culture of Collaboration, Hidden Infrastructure Behind the Hybrid Culture. Obviously, Crestron's a glue company, and they're doing a lot of collaboration stuff. This is aimed at end users stuff. This is a session that end users should join. Integrators can join, but this is aimed at end users. And then we have another event next week, January 26th. You're going to be joined with Sean Warga, who used to be the data geek from Avixa.
Yeah, that was his title.
His own data geek company, and they're called, I don't remember what they're called.
Apogee, right?
Apogee, and they're a bunch of data geeks. And 2 p.m. on January 26th, you're going to be doing a thing about data to direction, AV trends shaping 2026.
Yes, he's kind of the perfect person to have on this with me so that he can kind of tell me, is the data pointing us in the right direction in terms of like trends and what we should be thinking of for this next year. He, because as you said, he's a data geek. He said it, not me. I mean, he's very cool though. And he does have so much data about the industry and so much inside knowledge. So I'm really excited to kind of hear from him about what he thinks the data means and what he thinks the industry should be focusing on this next year. So it's going to be very, very cool and highly recommend you go and register. And then finally, Gary and I are going to be doing Replay ISE 2026 as usual. It's going to be February 17th so that we have time to upload all our videos and go through them and pick what gets to go. It's going to be February 17th, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be, of course, our Can't Miss picks from ISE 2026, both of our favorite videos, the ones we think are important. And then we're going to be giving away our Best of ISE awards. So go ahead and go register for that as well. It's going to be, I think I cushioned like an hour and a half for that because I think we typically go over an hour. So I just went ahead and scheduled it that way.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. Of course, we restream this at noon. Otherwise, we will see you next Wednesday, same place. And that'll be our last show before ISE. So we'll have probably a lot of ISE news.
And two guests. Everyone wants to come onto that episode. So it's going to be a full house.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
So
Look
make
forward
sure
to
to
it.
join us, everybody. All right. See you next week.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary.